All right, April 7th, time for another Canucks COVID update. Been a few days since I made one of these. At that point, we were at 14 players and 3 coaches who had tested positive. And as of this morning, that number is up to 21 players testing positive, along with 3 coaches and 1 member of the Canucks support staff. So, original source on this one coming from Darren Dreger at about 8:30 this morning, saying that one more Canucks player tested positive last night, bringing the total to 21 players, including the taxi squad players that have tested positive since the outbreak last week. So not all of them are active roster, but 3 or a handful of taxi squad players involved in this as well. We also got a tweet from Jeff Patterson at about 2:11 p.m. noting that it is Nate Schmidt who tested positive today. So that brings that number up to 21. And then this is from Rob over at the Daily Hive, basically saying it's the 7th consecutive day that at least one Canucks player has been added to the COVID list. And we're down to 4 players from the active roster who have not tested positive yet. So that would be Brock Besser, JT Miller, Jimmy Vesey, and Jordy Ben. Those are the only 4 Canucks on the active roster that aren't on the list. Now, the Canucks also have 4 players on IR: Elias Pettersson, Tanner Pearson, Jay Beagle, and Justin Bailey. None of them have tested positive either. Now, Justin Bailey is in the States for surgery, so that makes sense that he wouldn't test positive. And Pettersson, Pearson, and Beagle haven't really been with the team at the practice in the morning skate that the Canucks did have, where Adam Gaudette tested positive, and then it sort of snowballed from there. So everyone on injured reserve are not on the COVID list, so they're up to 19 on the list. Again, I'm not going to read all of them out, but basically everyone but Besser, Miller, VC, and Ben. Darren Dreger also mentioned about 15 minutes ago at the time of filming this that the NHL is targeting the end of next week for the Canucks to return to game action. So currently it's Wednesday, April 7th. End of next week would be something like Friday the 16th, Thursday the 15th, Saturday the 17th, sometime around there. And that date range does kind of make a little bit of sense. We're at the point where, assuming no more days of positive tests, right? Let's say the people who are already positive continue to test positive for a little bit here. But if we're at the point where everyone who has got it has tested positive, then we're at the point where we start to see that recovery phase going through. And if you can have, 15, 16 of the 21 players who have tested positive, if they have all recovered by then I think that's sort of the line of thinking that the NHL is going down is, look, if the Canucks are all good, or if they have at least enough players to play in a week and a half, this is their optimistic timeline to target. I wouldn't be surprised if that goes a little longer, maybe like the 18th, 19th. Again, it's going to be one of those things where the Canucks will probably want a practice afterwards, after everyone has recovered, and just time to. I mean, because some of them aren't handling COVID super well. Obviously, it's a tough virus to battle. So some of those people, some of those players might take a little bit longer, and it's recovering from something like that. You might be quite sluggish for a little while after that. That's all I have on the Canucks. The other news that did come out on the Canucks today, and this was from Rick Dollywall on his show on Check TV with Don Taylor. He was mentioning that Jay Beagle is likely done for the season. He has an injury that's just been nagging him for a while, and apparently there's concerns that it could go on past this season as well. So tough news for Jay Beagle on that front. Not COVID related, at least, but potentially a bad sign there. The only other news that I wanted to mention, and this comes from Toronto Maple Leafs PR on Twitter. For precautionary reasons, William Nylander will not play tonight versus Montreal as he has had exposure to a possible positive case with a close contact outside the team. So a concern with the Maple Leafs there. I think William Nylander did take the morning skate with his team today as well. So hopefully we don't see a similar situation to what's happening with the Canucks shake out with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Anyways, that's all I've got for this one. If you're not subscribed already, I highly recommend you do, because on Monday, we're starting something new Monday night. So make sure you're subscribed and stay tuned for that. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today, and I will talk to you soon.